Good evening to you all from Stuttgart. Let's quickly take a check on the two teams then. Stuttgart, who are liberally spiced by international players. The foremost among them is their captain Guido Buchwald, 56 caps, including one in last summer's European Championship final against Denmark. Michael Fronzek, the left back, is another current international. Watch out too for Fritz Walter, one of Germany's most consistent scorers, some 140 First Division goals, but never has he won a cap. Walter is likely to play alone up front, quickly supported by a packed midfield, and behind Buchwald and company will be the sweeper Dubacic, the Yugoslav. Well, Howard Wilkinson has surprised us here tonight with his team. David Rocastle gets his first start in a Leeds shirt since his £2 million move from Arsenal. Gordon Strachan will now drift more to the left side of the midfield, we understand, and David Batty will play at right back with a licence to storm forward. Tony Dorigo returns to left back after missing Sunday's game with a stomach upset. So Batty at right back in place of John Newsom, Rocastle ahead of him, Strachan moving more to the left, Lee Chapman, the man the Germans really fear, and Eric Cantona, the spearhead. It's a gamble. I suggested to Howard Wilkinson, everything I do is a gamble, he said. He seemed relaxed and very confident. Ron Atkinson here with me. Well, £2 million, and at last David Rocastle can make his appearance in the number 2 shirt, but playing, of course, on the wide on the right side.
Yes, I should think Howard Wilkinson's gone to try and get as many experienced players in as he can. Playing Batty at right back may seem a bit of a gamble, but of course he's played there for England, and obviously Rocastle's got European experience with the Arsenal. So I think he's trying to do that, Brian. I think he's trying to get as many experienced players in the pot as he can.
What do you expect tonight? Do you expect them to go charging forward, Leeds United?
No, I know that's their normal
sounding, or what?
I know that's their normal style, Brian. They try and play that way away from home, try and press the game, play a high-pressure game. I would think they'll have to take into consideration it's over 2 legs. And don't forget, the Germans, as a nation, are very, very good at counter-attacking. And I don't think Howard will be too happy about leaving the back door open and maybe going for an all-out assault and then finding himself 1 or 2 down. I certainly think it'll be a more cautious Leeds approach than is normal in their league games.
Who are Cantona, the Frenchman. Leeds, incidentally, tonight here in parading for the first time their new away strip of all blue. Well, almost all blue. Looks like the kitchen curtains are out again. But it's a beautiful stadium here and a wonderful night. The stadium, in fact, that was used for the European Championships in 1988, but some huge refurbishments going on here, and that's why on the far side the crowd is fairly sparse, and a lot of the work being done, of course, for the World Athletics Championships.
Yes, I think that will work in Leeds' favour as well, Brian. I think the very fact that the atmosphere for a big game like this isn't quite as electric as you'd expect. It'd certainly be a lot different at Ellen Road in a fortnight, and I could see that working for Leeds, providing they don't get lulled by the atmosphere.
Well, we're just about to start. Stuttgart, 4th in the German First Division. The sides, of course, have already met. The referee is from Sweden, Rune Larsson. The sides have already met in the Makita Trophy in a very good pre-season tournament when Leeds won by 2-1 after going behind, and really should have won by more on that day. But now it's quite a different story. As Stuttgart in the white shirts attack the goal to our left. Leeds' experience in Europe is pretty thin on the ground, but they know well enough the job that's got to be done here tonight. It's got to be tight and disciplined, as Ron says, especially disciplined, so that the game is still very much within their sights when they come to the second leg at Ellen Road a fortnight tonight. Cantona and Chapman both going for the same ball. Sverrisson, the Icelandic player. Chase forward now for Schneider, but charged away there by Chris White. The onus really on Stuttgart to make the running, particularly early on here. Schneider again with the cross, and that time Gary Speed getting it away. Buchwald, such a big influence through the defence and right through the midfield, and comes forward as well, Buchwald, when he needs to. Dorigo really hustled there, conceding the first corner of the game.
Yes, he'll have some work to do, Tony Dorigo, tonight. He's playing against a very, very pacey right side of the Germans' attack. The lad Buck, they nicknamed, the number 7 Buck, they nicknamed him Turbo. He's a bit of a flying machine, and if there's anybody capable of dealing with it pace for pace, obviously Dorigo's the man.
Howard Wilkinson saying a goalless draw would be a good result tonight. 1-1 even better. A victory for Leeds would be smashing. There's a long way still to go. Here's the corner coming in. Lee Chapman getting right back there to help that one away for Leeds. Schneider again, playing his first full game for Stuttgart tonight, 21 years old. Howard Wilkinson, almost 4 years ago, he joined Leeds when they were struggling in the second division. My goodness, it's been almost a fairy tale since then for the Leeds fans. Fun they've had, promotion, a championship, and now, almost unbelievably, here's Europe as well. Lee Chapman, the Germans, the papers full of him and the fear that Stuttgart have of his ability in the air. Bronzek passed a fitness test just before the game. This is the Yugoslav sweeper, Dubadchik, Serbian. Sverrisson for the number 5 Strunz, bought from Bayern Munich. Strachan tracking him. Gaudino tried to get onto the end of that one, but the ball coming through quite safely, so far as Leeds are concerned, through to John Lukic. Dubadchik with a header. White with one for Leeds. Dorigo. Dubadchik. Fairclough letting that one go. And David Batty still wearing that number 4 shirt, but operating more or less at right back. Getting it clear. Here's the sweeper again. Kurgel. Bronzek. Gaudino knocking it in. Again, Fairclough watching it well, and Cantona on the break. Schneider after him. Strachan is busy up alongside him. Rocastle here on the right. And a good curling cross in there, just a little too high for Lee Chapman.
Yes, he looked an excellent cross in that when Rocastle set it off, Brian, and obviously Howard Wilkinson will be looking for him to get plenty of those in the box for Big Chapman and Cantona. Interesting team tactics going on at the moment. Gary Speed is playing a very, very sort of defensive role. It looks almost as if he's been given the anchor job in midfield, possible to mark either Gardini or sometimes Sverrisson, who's making breaks from midfield.
Stuttgart again. Speed into the challenge there, and a foul and a free kick to Leeds United. Fairclough with it. White with that one. That player is down, trapped and trying to pull his way clear. And with the back pass coming there, Engel had to quickly shuffle away with the ball outside the box. Dubadchik. Who was the injured player, Ron?
Dubadchik was injured there. I mean, it was a nasty situation there for Stuttgart, because as he went down injured, Leeds are mounting an attack here, and as you've seen him, when he goes down, and he was actually playing Chapman well onside. It looked very much as if Leeds were going to capitalise on that.
Any early thoughts yet, Ron, about
Yes, we knew
problems that Leeds might face.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is going to be runs from midfield. I should think that's why Gary Speed's been sat in there. They probably think and give little Strachan the license to maybe support the front players more. Obviously, they have a lot of midfield players. They're very, very good at coming in from wide positions to join the midfield. As I said earlier, Buck's very quick, so he's going to be a problem out on that side. But Kurgel seems to hold a left-hand position. Then when the ball's played into Fritz Walter up the middle, darts inside very quickly. And if they're not in a wide-awake club in midfield, all of a sudden, you know, they could have problems, Leeds.
Well, Howard Wilkinson on the left, looking relaxed enough. Covington and Alan Sutton alongside him, the physio.
I just wonder how the atmosphere may get to them.
He's taken a nasty gash on the left eye there, the Yugoslav sweeper, Gudevchik. And it'll be a bounce ball. Sorry, Ron.
Yeah, just saying. I just wonder how sometimes Leeds may get the impression that it's not a particularly... he hasn't got the white-hot fever of, say, the normal European matches. And I hope that doesn't lull them into the feeling that it's sort of a little bit testimonial. I know that sounds daft in a game of this magnitude, but it does seem an unreal atmosphere for two big clubs like this.
Gaudino knocked forward. Walters after this one. Lukic safety above him, but he's quick, Fritz Walter. And we saw in that Makita Trophy, the goal he scored for Stuttgart against Leeds. Not only is he quick, but he's got a very good eye for a ball and very good touch indeed. It's a free kick for Leeds. Gary McAllister. Increasing influence through that midfield alongside Gordon Strachan. The two men who really make things buzz in the midfield there for Leeds. McAllister with the free kick. Stuttgart get it away. Chris Fairclough up there, I think, who got the touch. Here's Rocastle. Chance for Rocastle, and he whacked it into the side netting. Just for a moment, a chance opened up there for Rocastle, who scored 4 leads against Stuttgart in that Makita Trophy.
Well, this would have been a dream start for him, wouldn't it? He holds his body strength there against Kurgel. Controls it very well, actually. From there, you would have expected him to have scored or at least hit target. Yeah, he'll be disappointed. He's missed a very good chance. Certainly, he should have been on the target and looked for a deflection or something. But I actually thought Leeds might have had a penalty just before that incident. That's a clever ball forward from Strachan. Just a one-touch ball over the top of the defenders coming out. But I thought there might have been a suggestion of a penalty before that, Brian. I think Fairclough is getting a little bit mauled in the penalty box on the previous free kick.
Batty could keep it in play. A throw to Stuttgart. As I say, lying 4th in the German First Division at the moment. So early in the season still. They've played 3 at home here. They've won them all. But they lost last weekend away to a second division side, Hansa Rostock, in the German Cup. This is Kurgel. It's very useful down that left-hand side, Kurgel. Won a couple of caps for Germany back in 1985. Gaudino. Strachan coming very close there to Strunz, who tries to get it wide out there towards Schneider. It'll be a throw to Leeds United. Big prizes certainly at stake in the European Cup this season. Leeds reckon something like £3 million could be theirs if they, these first 2 rounds, if they beat Stuttgart over 2 rounds and go through the next rounds as well. And then, of course, it becomes a league basis in place of the old quarterfinals and semi-finals, as we had last year, the league basis. And then you really dip your fingers in the honey pot and make a lot of money. 10 minutes gone. 0-0 here for Leeds United against the champions of Germany, Stuttgart. This is Gaudino playing it wide for Kurgel. Tricky little player. Batty's got to close him down quickly. Kurgel's getting the better of him. Fronzek playing it in. And Strachan dragging it away to Gary Speed. A nice little touch by Strachan, not matched by the one from Gary Speed, which gave Cantona no chance and gave a throw to Stuttgart.
Yes, I wonder whether Stuttgart will try and feed Kurgel a little bit early on. As soon as they realise Batty is playing at right full-back and give him the opportunity to test Batty. Obviously, a good international player, Batty, but not an experienced full-back.
Came off McAllister's head with it. No, it's a throw to Leeds. Well, stepped away there by Sverrisson. White. Free kick to Leeds. Foul on Lee Chapman.
Yes, they'll be encouraged if they can build up some pressure on free kicks and corners. This is Leeds' scene. They're very, very good at this. This is where they tend to get their head of steam going.
Speed, very good in the airs, right in there, of course. So is Fairclough. Schneider, who got it away. Up to Walter. The break on now with his butt. Cross coming in, the flagger stayed down, and Rocastle's back there. And it might come for Kurgel now. Leeds in a lot of danger here now. Kurgel lining up his man on the far side. Gaudino with the header. Walter can't get there, nodded away, but just for a moment, Rocastle was the only one back. Fronzek crossing it in once more. Dorigo on the far side. And Gaudino wins the throw for Stuttgart. But suddenly Leeds looked in terrible trouble with just Rocastle back there.
Yes, it was a mix-up all the way around, wasn't it? The two big central defenders had gone forward for the free kick. Quick break against them, a quick counter against them. Batty didn't know whether to stick or bust. Nearly, he was trying to play an offside, which was nowhere near offside. And then Rocastle got caught in the last defending position. But we saw there the menace of Stuttgart, the ability to come from one end of the field to the other very, very quickly and very controlled.
It's the one area of worry I think we have for Leeds United. Their form away from home this season has been none too impressive. They've conceded goals all along the line. And they've lost a little bit of their credibility away from home. Speed, a good challenge by Rocastle. Speed to Fairclough. Rocastle again. Cantona on the far side. Chapman's waiting in there as well. Cantona's shot, but it's an easy one this time for Immel. Walter being closely watched by Fairclough. Gaudino. And a goal kick. Rocastle's appearance in the Leeds team. Presumably, Howard Wilkinson partly swayed by the fact that he's got international experience, and of course he's got European experience with Arsenal in a side that is very short on European experience. Chapman has a bad kick by Lukic, got away with it. Lee Chapman had a little skirmish in Europe with Arsenal some 10 years ago. Cantona played in Europe when he was with the French side Auxerre. And Gordon Strachan, of course, played in Europe, principally with Aberdeen back in 1983 when they won the Cup Winners' Cup. And here's Chris White on a sortie forward. Chapman, Rocastle, up to Cantona. Little turn by him, but he found Dubicic was in the way. And a free kick given to Leeds. 6 or 7 yards outside the Stuttgart penalty area. McAllister has a tremendous dig on him. And Dorigo also, as Ron Atkinson reminds me. And Batty is there. Strachan is there. 5 in the Stuttgart wall. Is it McAllister? Is it Dorigo? Wanted to get on with the free kick, but the Swedish referee said, no, wait for me to give you the signal. He moved it 6 inches, but he had his way. Now, what's it going to be? It's going to be Dorigo, driven straight into the Stuttgart wall. Ricocheting here for Rocky Rocastle. Rocastle again. Well, that was a leg that was outstretched that brought Rocastle down inside the penalty area. Ron Atkinson.
Yes, it looked a little bit suspicious, that, didn't it? Sitting on the fence a little bit, Brian. My first reaction was that could well have been a penalty. Or certainly a free kick. I'm not sure, to be fair, whether it was in the box or outside the box, but it's a very, very dangerous challenge.
Gaudino. Welds. Knocking it forward again, high towards Walter. Speed. Dorigo to Speed. Chapman. Twisting and turning, finding Strachan. Bringing it to this side of the field now to Rocastle, but running straight into Fronzek. Still 0-0 here in Stuttgart between Stuttgart and Leeds United. A delicate little touch there by Chapman. A good ball played forward by Strachan. Here's Cantona. Hitting it long again towards Chapman, but Buchwald gets it away. Fronzek to Kürgel. Batty is right there with him.
I think that's something you can afford to do, Brian. I think Batty can afford to push right tight on Kürgel. I mean, they've only really got one striker up the field. The two centre-halves should be able to deal with that. The only problem you have sometimes are two centre-halves against one. One thinks he's marking and the other thinks he's marking, and they tend to leave the guy a little bit spare. I would prefer to see one man go tight with Fritz Walter and maybe Chris White sit out as a definite sweeper. Let Fairclough go 1-to-1 with it.
Good ball there, played by Fronzek. Excellent play between him and Kürgel, and here's Kürgel now for Stuttgart. Speed, he's gone past Speed. He's trying to get a shot in, and it's snaked across that 6-yard area. Sverrisson very nearly got a touch, the number 8. But slithered wide of that far Leeds United post. There's Kürgel's shot. And a goal kick.
Some beautiful link-up play there, wasn't it, between Fronzek and Kürgel. And what was a little bit disturbing there, Brian, was the way Batty and Rocastle reacted to that. They got caught in the middle of a 1-2, and really neither made a definite effort to get back. That's a little bit of a let-off for Leeds.
Taking it wide, cut out quite easily there by White. Schneider. Dorigo. The ball's given Leeds United's way. It's a throw. 1,500 Leeds fans here. There were just 9 arrests in the town last night. So Les Walker, the Football Association security man, tells me all for minor offences. 800 police on duty here to watch them tonight. Up goes Cantona. Here's Cantona again. Rocastle. Cantona. Oh, Dorigo with the throw. Here's Strachan. Dorigo's cross towards Cantona. Fronzek getting it away. Again, Dorigo. Strachan. Sverrisson, the Icelandic player. There's his cross coming in. Kürgel. With a chip again. Again, Leeds get it away. They were lining up Fairclough and White to get that one away. Shot charge down, and Cantona playing it back. And it came off Fronzek, so it'll be a throw presumably to Leeds United.
That's where they are dangerous, though, Stuttgart. They are very, very good at breaking from midfield. I mean, the run of Sverrisson's was excellent. And quite honestly, sometimes you have the impression the Leeds back forward do tend to ball watch a little bit, not pick up runners. I mean, that's why I can only suggest that Speed has gone in there to try and add something to them in there.
20 minutes gone. Batty with the free kick. Fronzek with the header for Stuttgart. There's Speed. Now Rocastle. Nobody there in a blue shirt. Fronzek again. Had a checkered international career, this big number 3. Won his place back in the German side during the European Championships in Sweden. Played 1 game, lost his place. Didn't play in the final. And won his place back again in Copenhagen against Denmark last week. Frontek. Chased by Chapman, and hustled enough, and it came off Walter. Chris White for Leeds. Gutwald with a header, Rocastle. Cantona chasing, but Dubčík.
Doesn't look very much as if Leeds are making any concessions to playing in European football, Brian. They're trying to play the same way as they do in the ordinary domestic situation, and every free kick, for argument's sake, deep in their own half has been hit long and forward, and there is sometimes a suggestion at this level that if you give the ball away too cheaply, you're going to spend a lot of time chasing it. I just wonder whether Leeds' inexperience in that respect may be showing up a little bit tonight. But they've had a useful start, but there is always a threat. Watching the Walter fella, you know, it's not hard to see why he scores goals. He's busy, he's bright. Even when the ball's a long way away from him, you can see him always trying to steal a position on people.
It's Batty. Back to Rocastle. Batty again, planting it forward. Nice little touch there by Speed. Played well by McAllister. Dubčík taking it forward towards Walter. Gardino's in there. Fairclough got his foot on the accelerator. Just got in there quickly enough as Lukic came out.
But that would be alarmist, wouldn't it? I mean, there's no way in the world Walter should have had this space before he gets the touch on. There's two central defenders there in close proximity, and yet neither have picked them up. He only needed that to break right from Gardino, and there'd have been an excellent chance for him.
Speed to Cantona. And a Leeds throw. Gary Speed with it. No, he's going to leave it for David Batty. Chapman came towards the near post, and there was a bit of pushing and shoving. Interesting what you were saying earlier about the lack of atmosphere, really, in terms it doesn't feel like a big European occasion with the empty spaces on the far side. And I thought we might well find an intimidating atmosphere here. They normally get crowds for these sort of games of something in the region of 60,000. Their average home gate this season is something like 31,000. Of course, with the running track around the ground, the players are a long way from the atmosphere. Charged down that time by Fairclough. It'll be a different kettle of fish in a fortnight's time at Ellen Road, you can be sure of that. Oh, little dummy there by Rocastle, allowed some space here for McAllister. And body check there by Dubčík. It was my imagination or not, but I heard a real smack there as he went in. A yellow card for the number 4 of Stuttgart. And I get a feeling that McAllister could be quite badly hurt there. I noticed the physio was on very quickly indeed. He's in really a lot of trouble there, Gary McAllister. And the last person they want to lose in the side on a night like this would be McAllister, who's having a terrific season. Very, very influential through that midfield, not only for Leeds, but also for Scotland. Had an excellent European Championship.
Yeah, that one certainly looked nasty, didn't it? Appeared to catch him with his shoulder just under the jaw somewhere.
We were talking about this Fritz Walter fellow. There's Steve Hodge. One of the 5 substitutes. 2, of course, can be called on. We're talking about Fritz Walter, the number 9 of Stuttgart. What a prolific scorer he has been. Something like 140 games in the German First Division. It's Howard Wilkinson. We were just saying, I wonder whether there's anybody in the English football who could be compared to him. And I suppose, really, the number 9, Lee Chapman, prolific scorer right through his career, wherever he's played, and he's never won a cap. Well, they're working on McAllister, the doctor there as well. And good news for Leeds. He carries on. Batty with the free kick. Chapman on the far side. Cantona jogging in just inside the Stuttgart penalty area. It's aimed towards Gary Speed. Didn't get real touch on it. Chris Fairclough's up there, faced by Frontek. Torrigo playing it in quickly towards Lee Chapman. It'll almost come through for Cantona. Back header by Fairclough. Snyder getting it clear. Buchwald after it. Dubacik. Leeds fans making their voices heard now in this stadium. Cantona going in, and a little chip there, tipped over beautifully by Immel. Great thinking there by Eric Cantona.
Saw the two sides of him there, didn't you? The power when he won the tackle after Fairclough had pressed for it, and then the vision and the delicate chip, and a great touch over from Immel, but full marks to Cantona. I had a feeling he might be the key man tonight. You know, the ability to hold the ball up. I was very impressed with him when he played against us on Sunday. But he...
And knocked in again by Cantona, kicked off the line that time. I fancy Fritz Walter. So you feel he might be the scourge of Leeds at one end, but he was the saviour of Stuttgart at the other as Cantona got another header in. McAllister knocking it forward again. Dubacik getting up there, Fairclough right up there. And suddenly Leeds will need to defend. Sverrisson coming forward with a lot of pace about him. Walter one side of him, and Leeds just holding him off. I think it may have come off Strachan, that little clearance, and finds Gary Speed. In for Strachan. Cantona. McAllister. Strachan. Played wide for McAllister. Nice little touch again by Cantona towards Strachan. Stopped by Buchwald. On for Kurgel. Kurgel in time stopped by Batty, who concedes the free kick. Little touch by Kurgel. Look at the space here now for Fronzek. Could be trouble here for Leeds. Walter is very active inside the box there. Fronzek going on, didn't know what he was doing. And there were so many options for him because Walter had pulled towards him. Gaudino had pulled far on the far side for him, and I've got a feeling there's some signalling from the Leeds United bench, whether they're suggesting that McAllister can't go on. I think McAllister's struggling possibly with his breathing at the moment.
Yeah, Hodge is getting stripped now.
And
Hodge is virtually coming. He's virtually ready to go straight on. That's a blow for them, but if anything, they're replacing him with a very, very good player.
McAllister again. Strachan to Cantona. Here's Speed. And a goal.
I think he had a little bit more time than he thought then. He might even have had time to switch that back to his favourite left foot. Either that or go at the last defender.
They're urging on the bench for McAllister to take deep breaths and try and get himself going again. Sure enough, there's McAllister going into the challenge there, wins it well, finds Lee Chapman. Speed now getting it towards Strachan. Lee's beginning to blossom here at this stage. Little touch and a good touch there by Dorigo. Strachan trying to transfer it down that line further for Dorigo, but it's a throw to Leeds United. Good spell for Leeds, this.
Yes, I mean, they've set off as if they're playing in a home game. No fears about the game, no inhibition. In fact, at times I just wonder whether they're overcommitted, like the times that Fairclough and that have stayed up the field when maybe they're going to leave themselves a little bit vulnerable, but good signs. The thing that worries me a little bit, Brian, is I just wonder when on the right-hand side of the Leeds team, like Batty to me doesn't look natural yet. I must admit, I know he's a very good midfield player, but he doesn't look quite natural at full-back there. And every time they put some play together, they cause problems.
Long throw by Speed. Batty trying to get in and gets in first there, beating Kurgel to that one.
Looks natural there.
It does indeed.
When he can see only
That's
the ball
his natural
and go
habitat.
for it.
Yeah. There you go. Little chip forward again. Here's Strachan. Good play there by Strachan, but canny old Buchwald was there right alongside him.
Yes, they've obviously given Strachan free rein to go where he likes and causes much trouble just playing short of the strikers sometimes, then drifting out to that left-hand position.
So another long throw by Speed. Chapman, Fairclough in there, Rocastle in there. Knocked away by Sverrisson. Leeds linking up well at the moment, playing a good passing game. But you always remember that German champion sides are renowned always for their technique and their composure. They do keep going, and they're always capable of taking the game by the throat in the very last moments when you least expect it. Cantona, fantastic competitors always. But here's Strachan. Good save again by Immel. That's two excellent saves he's had to make. The first one from Cantona, and this one from little Gordon Strachan.
Yes, that was a good effort. I thought when the little man scribbles here, I thought he'd just done enough, because the top's a bit greasy as well. Having said that, they've got a corner and they've looked particularly dangerous on corners.
Chris White up at the near post alongside Chapman. White tried the little flick on. It didn't quite work because the sweeper Budchik was there and got it clear. Strachan again to Dorigo. Leeds really turning it on at the moment. McAllister. Batty. Speed on the far side, knocking it in towards Fairclough, and it's just fell a fraction behind him. And now we might well require Fairclough at the other end, because Stuttgart breaking away again. Gaudino and Dorigo trying to hold off. Well, it was always likely to be a problem once Sverrisson was down that right touchline. Across along the 6-yard area, and never really too much of a bother, really. It was never close enough to the goal to be too much of a worry for Leeds United.
I noticed the little fellow was in there again, though, Volta, wasn't he? Just a yard short at the near post.
Volta. But it's another example in these sort of games, in European games, where, I don't know about you, Ron, I like to see defenders defending. I don't want to see Chris Fairclough at that end of the field too often. I'd rather see him tightening things up at the back.
No, I think if it was a single leg match, you know, if it was over one leg like an actual cup tie, Chris is a bit lucky there. That's not a clever. That's not a clever tackle. But you know, I hope they've got it in mind, which I'm sure they have. These lot are coming back to Elland Road, where they haven't lost a game for an awful long time, and
not playing well here, though. And the corner came off the Leeds United player, did it? No, a free kick's been given against Stuttgart. But from the moment Chris White misheaded that ball and it went up in the air, Leeds were in a lot of trouble. There's a header from Fairclough.
And maybe a touch lucky with that offside decision. Maybe a bit touch lucky there at Leeds.
Chapman coming a long way for that one. Didn't make a contact. Rocastle did, and Fonsek certainly made a contact with him. Free kick to Leeds. Fascinating game this. Leeds, you feel, playing with a lot of dash and a lot of skill, but occasionally a little bit dangerously. Stuttgart well able to punish them on the break, but 0-0 here. McAllister with the shots. He just clipped off the defender, so it'll be another corner for Leeds.
In actual fact, this looks like Leeds are the home side, doesn't it? It looks as if Leeds have made up their mind to play as they would in a home game, and Stuttgart are just prepared. Well, they're not prepared. They're having to defend and then try and play on the counter.
Corner floated in by Strachan, touched on by Lee Chapman. A goal kick for Stuttgart. Chapman obviously felt that he was pushed in the back as that corner came in.
I think every free kick and every corner that's loaded in there's been some mauling going in with Chapman. I mean, I thought early on he may have had a penalty, and it certainly seems to have happened.
Dorigo. Challenge on Strachan that time. Schneider, I think it was, who committed the foul. And The little man clearly in a lot of pain. 35 years old.
Yeah, it'd be unfortunate there if it'd be unfortunate there if they have put him, because I thought at the time that little Gordon was trying to just skip the tackle. I thought he completely evaded it.
So the 5 Leeds subs warming up: Carl Schutt, Steve Hodge, Scott Sellers, David Weatherall, and the reserve goalkeeper Mervyn Day. Free kick to Leeds. Chapman flicking it on. Cantona there as well. Tries an overhead. Falls straight and obligingly into the arms of Ike Immel, the Stuttgart goalkeeper. Callister with a header. Touched on by Rocastle. Cantona again. Rocastle again getting in there. Shouldered off the ball though by Fronzek, but no whistle. Schneider playing it dangerously. Buchwald. Leeds getting possession again. Strachan, but just for a moment, Dorigo was back on his heels. It's a goal kick to Stuttgart. There's something like 7 minutes to go to the interval. Stuttgart 0, Leeds United 0. First leg of this European Cup tie.
And Leeds will feel, if it stays like this till half-time, that they probably should have been in front. They've had 3 decent efforts.
Locking it forward again. Falter there, closed in quickly that time by Chris Fairclough. Here's speed. Cantona couldn't keep it in play. Leeds lost in the European Cup 17 years ago, 1975, when they were in the final in Paris, and lost to another German side, Bayern Munich. Good times are coming back to Ellen Road, and so far they're so good here in southern Germany tonight, 0-0. Here's Fronzek. Kergel with the free kick. Dubacic. Easy for Lukic. Here's speed. Beaten by Gaudino. Free kick. Well, he wanted to take it quickly. The ball was moving. It was a good 5 or 6 yards on from where the offence occurred. The Swedish referee, to the relief of Leeds United, hauled them back. And now Leeds have got everybody back behind the ball. Ruby Schneider getting the ball to Buck on the far side. Struntz. Buck will not keep it in. And a goal kick for Leeds.
I think that illustrated there, Brian, just how slippy it's getting very, very greasy on the pitch now. Whether there's a dew coming down or what. It's perfect conditions when they kicked off, and then once or twice now you're seeing players losing their footing a little bit when for no apparent reason.
Away by Gaudino. The feet were high there, but to my mind that was 6 of one, half done the other. Chris White for Leeds and Thomas Struntz for Stuttgart, but the referee's given the free kick to Stuttgart, who won the German championship in the most dramatic fashion with a goal just 4 minutes from the end of their last game. What a bad free kick. Cantona. He held on it for too long, and Walter came back and dispossessed him. Gaudino playing it in. Look who's right back there holding out that time. Lee Chapman. Batty acrobatically. Kurgel. And Batty playing the ball straight into Stuttgart's path. Gaudino with a shot. Throw then to Stuttgart. The corner. Well, just over 2 minutes to go to half-time. Important that Leeds defend with some efficiency here. Lee Chapman right back there in his own penalty area, watching Buchwald. Bonzek. But it might just go out. Yes, it does, for a throw to Leeds. Speeds. Free kick. Stuttgart fans unhappy with that decision.
I don't think they'll be terribly happy about the way their team's played either. They've shown little flashes, there's been 1 or 2 touches, and obviously they've got good quality, but they're not the best German team I've ever seen by a long stroke. And quite honestly, Leeds really ought to be in the lead.
And a free kick for Leeds now for a handball there. Gained 6 or 7 yards outside the penalty area. Dorigo, no doubt, will line up for this one again, alongside McAllister. Batty and Strachan there again. We had one earlier in the game, which Dorigo smashed straight into the Stuttgart wall. Here's Dorigo again. He's gone through the wall, but there's not nearly enough power to embarrass Immel. Last minute of the first half now. Speed couldn't get a touch on that one. Sverrisson. Buck. Walter waiting in the middle. Strachan trying to hold him up. And Speed getting in. And indeed, the German crowd beginning to sound, just as Ron Atkinson was saying, just a little disgruntled with the form of their side at the moment. Dubacic now, the sweeper. Making one of those great runs forward that sweepers should make. Batty now. In the end, the ball was bouncing awkwardly for him. And there's no way back to Lukic. He had to concede the corner as we come to the last half minute now of the first half. Bonzek's in there. Sverrisson's in there. Fritz Walters in the 6-yard area. Kurgel then with the corner for Stuttgart, right on half-time. A deeper one this time. A lot of big men going in there. And in the end, it's the number 5, Struntz, who plays it well over the Leeds crossbar.
Rocastle's put him under very heavy pressure there, so he couldn't get a clear strike kick goal. Just a little concern there. 2 corners they've just had, and they've got the headers. Fonseca had a decent chance with the previous corner, and they managed to keep that one back in play, which is something people have said about Leeds this year. They're not defending crosses as well as they've done over the last 2 or 3 years.
Time added on for injuries. Well, there was a stoppage while McAllister got some treatment. And a couple of other small stoppages since then. The back heel by Cantona for Speed, trying to find McAllister on the far side. He in turn looking for Lee Chapman, but it came off McAllister. It's a goal kick. Still 0-0.
That's a good position for a midfield player to take, though, isn't it? Particularly one that anchors. Most of his game is playing in central areas, but still has the ability to ghost into goal-scoring positions.
McAllister. Strachan is busy as a bee still. Look at him battling away there against Dubacic, who must stand a good 9 or 10 inches taller than little Strachan. Kurgel. Gaudino. Deflected off McAllister. Another corner. Now let's see how Leeds deal with this. With close on 2 minutes of injury time played at the end of the first half. Fairclough, there's work for him to do. There'll be work for White to do. Chapman's come back to help out. Cantona's back there. In fact, Leeds have got 11 men back in their own penalty area now. Here comes the corner, driven in this time. And it was Chris White who got up and got it away. Back as far as Schneider. Knocked in again. This should be easy for Lukic. Well, it should be. And it's a throw for Leeds. Leeds playing with a lot of composure, mixed with a lot of dash, occasionally looking just that little bit vulnerable to the break. I would have thought if they can stay this way for a few more seconds, Howard Wilkinson will be more than pleased with their first half performance. Just need to stay rigid, determined and disciplined in this second half. Sverrisson getting past McAllister, knocking the ball in, but White there, a formidable barrier once again for Leeds United. Dubacik knocking it wide into Sverrisson. Leeds are getting everybody back in these last seconds of the first half. The little touch speeds right back there, the ball gathering a little bit of pace there and goes behind for the goal kick.
Yes, I mean, we've got to almost half-time and this is their first real sustained spell of any sort of pressure.
Now played 3 minutes of injury time. White ducking in and knocking it forward towards Chapman. Comes Stuttgart again. They've suddenly got 3 up. They've got 4 up, and Leeds are looking very stretched. But Fairclough again is there. Didn't want to risk a back pass there. Plays it wide. Strachan, as always, you would expect, is available as he isn't game here, but he's given the ball away to Strunz this time. Coming to near 4 minutes of time added on now. Here goes the half-time whistle, and quite clearly the message from Stuttgart to English football followers at the moment is so far so good, with a scoreline here in the European Cup first leg.
Well, the way that the Leeds midfield...
European Cup first leg.
Well, the way that the Leeds midfield are settling into it.
Well, I think McAllister could be more influential. I think he's getting ahead of the ball far too much, and I think the game's either at one end of the field or the other, and I think as whoever gets a grip in the midfield will keep the flow going their way. And I think McAllister's getting ahead of the ball at times, making runs that I think as a midfield player should be holding his ground and make sure that the flow of the game goes their way.
Well, there's McAllister there. The Leeds United team are out. So let's go over there to Stuttgart and join Ron Atkinson. But first, Brian Moore.
Thank you, Saint. First thing I notice is that Steve Hodge just noticed is on the pitch for Leeds United, wearing the number 14 shirt. Just work out, it's David Rocastle who's gone off. Gordon Strachan has reverted to right side midfield. That's really the only change, and Stevie Hodge now taking the role that Strachan had, sort of the left side of midfield. There's Strachan on that far side now, Rocastle off then. Well, Steve Hodge scored against you, Aston Villa, on Sunday. He's a terrific little player down the left-hand side of midfield.
Yes, I think he's at his best when he plays in, shall we say, the narrow midfield role. He doesn't particularly like being the last man in midfield on the left-hand side. I think he's a great player for the side when they're chasing a game, and he can play like he did on Sunday and gamble, you know, just make a few gamblers runs from midfield.
Buchwald. Strunz. To Buck. Schneider. Buchwald again. Great run from the back and taken down by Lee Chapman. A free kick. Buchwald stays down and is in a lot of pain, clutching that left ankle. Chapman going after him, stretching for the ball there. Just catches the left ankle maybe. Certainly Buchwald in a lot of pain.
I must say I'm more sceptical with him. I mean, he's a big, strong guy, but going back to Italia 90, Brian, the number of times he was almost as bad as Klinsmann in that tournament for the number of times he hit the deck. So you do tend to be a little bit sceptical whenever he's having treatment.
What about Leeds and what they have to do now, in your view, now in this second half run?
I think they've got to try and play the way they were playing first half. They were taking the game to the opposition. As you said, as we were saying, just be a little bit more cautious at the back. What tended to happen just before half-time, where the Germans got some sort of ascendancy and were allowed to pass the ball around. And it looks very much as if they may start that way this half, the Germans. They look as if they're going to come out and make a little bit of a fist of it.
Good pictures there as McAllister lines up this wall in front of John Lukic. Buchwald is all right, stamping that left foot on the ground. It's Fronzek up towards Buchwald, just nicks it away from Strachan towards Kürgel. Kürgel now getting that left foot to work once again, just as Speed did there for Leeds United and getting it away. Cantona the only man up, chasing across here. Strums finding Buck. So here Stuttgart again, knocked away again by Gary Speed for Cantona. Dorigo chipping it forward. Nice little touch there by Chapman. Speed seeking out Strachan on the far side. Strachan having trouble with Kürgel, gets it back to Fronzek. Kürgel again. Made wide again for Buck. Taking on Dorigo. Slipping it inside again, Sprints again. Onto the right foot and pushed away well. Can Speed get in there? And in the end, White. That's a real emergency there for Leeds United. With a good challenging run by Struntz and a good shot that Lukic could only push away. But here's Strachan now. Losing out that time, though, to Dubacic. And an offside flag surely up against Gaudino. And a free kick to Leeds United. But a real troublesome moment there for Leeds, Ron.
Yes, I would say that's been their most nervous moment of the night. Struntz hits a very good shot there. He'd opened himself up very well. There Lukic gets the parry, and fortunately he doesn't rebound to Walter, but it looks all on for Gardini until the Speed makes a great recovery tackle. It's certainly the nearest Stuttgart have come to scoring.
Good jump by Fairclough there, beating Gaudino in the air. Offside surely, yes, against Walter by 2 or 3 yards.
I'm trying to think the normal team or away team in Europe would be one that said, no, we'll sit behind the ball, we'll block the game up, no score at half-time. That's as a result that it will go to the end. But I can't recall, just trying to think there, Brian, whenever I've seen Leeds go away and block up for a no-score draw.
Touched on well by Cantona. Chapman getting in there as well. Cantona in there too. Schneider working the ball away for Stuttgart. And here's Kürgel. This could be trouble. Walter's up ahead of him. Gaudino's coming in fast. The ball played into the path of Walter, and it just was a yard or so too far ahead of him. Gaudino now. And a shot was just wide of the goal by Struntz. And a goal kick to Leeds United. But a moment of alarm there again for the visitors. Final shot. Make a connection with Fairclough, and it's spinning away there, as you can see, with an excellent slow motion, just wide of the post.
I should think when Struntz hit that, he probably thought he'd scored, didn't he? Because it looked to be all the way inside the post until the very last moment. But in the last couple of minutes, we've had 3 great situations either end. I mean, Hodge was only a yard off when he gambled on Cantona's flick header.
Up towards Chapman. And now Speed. Cantona, a little touchdown. McAllister tries to find Hodge. It'll come to Dorigo. Strachan. Oh, he had to jump over that challenge there from Buck. And quite rightly, the Swedish referee gives a free kick to Leeds United. So 6 minutes, second half gone. Stuttgart 0, Leeds United 0, if you've just joined us. McAllister for Leeds in the blue. Touched on by Speed. After Fairclough had won a very good header on the far side. Guided it nicely into the path of Gary Speed. Speed couldn't quite get enough purchase on it, really, to test Immel. Dorigo being hustled by Walter.
Yeah, it's a pity he's in there standing, isn't it? It's a pity there wasn't a little bit more on Fairclough's header, so he could come and get some real impact on it. Actually, that's one of the things about Leeds. We talk about their big guys in the box, that particular one, Chapman and Cantona, and the two central defenders. But one of the best headers they've got is actually Gary Speed. He's particularly dangerous when he comes up for free kicks.
Here's Buck. Going inside Dorigo that time. Sprints. Playing the handball against Steve Hodge there. White working the ball away again for Leeds. Dubacik returning it for Stuttgart. Chris White again. Little touch by Chapman, not quite what he wanted, but still forces the ball through, but unfairly with a foul against Strunz. Free kick to Stuttgart. White. Here we go to White. Lukic has gone wide of his goal in case there's the back pass. Puts it straight up towards Lee Chapman. No foul there as Hodge is felled. And an offside surely against Buck. Free kick again to Leeds. The back four pushing up very quickly with great discipline.
Very dangerous, though, to be fair there, Brian. I mean, actually, they had no awareness, really, where Gardini or Walter was. Unfortunately for them, Buck had ran himself offside, because the two players completely unmarked in the centre of the attack that weren't offside.
Speed playing it quickly to Cantona. Speed to Dorigo. Played down the line now to Hodge. Onto that left foot again. Chapman's on the far side, but it won't reach him. Strunz getting it away. Speed again for Leeds. A little touch for Strachan, a back heel by him towards Chapman, who didn't go for him though. And suddenly, out of that Leeds attack, here are Stuttgart breaking forward with Fritz Walter. To Buck, Walter in the middle, Kogel on the far side, Gaudino waiting in there. Leeds backpedaling here furiously. Gaudino onto the left foot, charged down again by Chris White, and falling for McAllister. Cantona came off the Stuttgart player. Throw to Leeds.
I think while the game's going like this with Stuttgart doing most of the pressing, there's a big responsibility on Eric Cantona now. I mean, he's a far better technical player than Lee Chapman, and because they're being boxed in a little bit, Leeds really need somebody to get hold of the ball up front and just keep them possession and buy them a bit of time so the midfield players and the defenders can have a breather and get up to them a little bit.
Long towards Chapman. And it'll come for Hodge. Cantona's pulled away from his man, and he finds Cantona on the far side, but it's Chapman who got the header in. Good break then for Leeds United, and Hodge always offering something down that left flank.
It seems either time any side puts a decent attack together now, they nearly get an end product from it. I mean, Chapman really, I bet he thinks he might have got more on that one. As you said, super ball in from Steve Hodge.
Batty first to show there, gets the ball up to Chapman. Oh, a bad ball by Chapman. A bad ball by Chapman, giving it to Kogel. And Stuttgart could make Leeds suffer here. Fronzek gets a shot in, not a very good one. Strumfall. And Strunz with a shot, which was a poor one into the side netting. Referee rushing across to Strunz for some reason, but it was a bad miss by him.
Well, he's had 3 shots since the interval. 2 of them were very good ones from far more difficult positions and under far more pressure than that. I thought actually he could have run that, said the keeper. I mean, we were saying about Rocastle's in the first half. That was probably a better chance because he got more time and more chance to control it. But it's amazing the number of times now both sides are cutting through the other.
Stuttgart 0, Leeds United 0, with just over 10 minutes of the second half gone. Fronzek with the free kick for Stuttgart. Along towards Buchwald. Chris White up well. He's missed scarcely anything in the air tonight. It's been really formidable. Good work here by Speed, White getting it away again. Only Cantona up now for Leeds. Sverrisson. Batty. And an offside flag is up against Kurgel on the far side. He'll have to come back. I don't think the referee spotted it yet. It's against the post, but the flag is up there, and in fairness to you can see it in the bottom of the picture there for a moment, and in fairness to the Swedish linesman, he has stayed firm, and I'm not even sure now that the referee has seen him, and he's still got his flag up, and the referee still hasn't seen him. A total lack of coordination between referee and linesman there.
But it was an excellent decision because Kurgel was a shade offside.
Just a French. Lukic then with the free kick for Leeds. Up goes Cantona. Chapman's up there too. Buchwald gets it away. Up to Kurgel, who you still feel could be the danger man, offering so much down that left flank. Bronzic's there as well. Good work by Fairclough. Strachan, little touch in for Cantona. Beaten by Buchwald's challenge. Comes up to Chapman. Strachan playing it down the line. Cantona's after this one. And Dubicic stabbing it into touch for a throw to Leeds United. With a throw. Fairclough joining the charge very quickly, making his late run. Needs to get back now as White holds up Walter.
Just looking there, Brian, I wonder whether Howard Wilkinson's at all toying with the idea of going into a five-man midfield. He's got Scott Sellers there, who's a natural left-sided player. Whether he would toy with the idea of bringing him on outside of Hodge and taking one of his front players off and just giving Hodge a free running role from midfield.
Finnegan with plenty to say for himself there alongside Howard Wilkinson. Yes, it's certainly an option that's open to Howard Wilkinson.
I think what that would enable Leeds to do is to block off the flanks a little bit more, which is where Stuttgart are now starting to build up their play. They're going, their best movements seem to be when they go wide on both sides.
Dubicic with the free kick. Good chip by him towards Gaudino. Good challenge though by Fairclough. Kurgel. He's got a lot going for him, Kurgel. Getting away from Strachan. This is very dangerous now. Still with Kurgel shimmying away there. And in the end, Torrigo just hacks, whether he made a contact or not, but at least the ball came away for Leeds United and down for a throw. But, Kurgel weaving a little bit of magic on that far side, and Leeds looked in big distress there. That came off for Struntz.
I tell you what, there's every chance then that Batty might have upended him. I just wonder whether, looking at Batty, I wonder whether he's had injury problems this season. I wonder whether he's totally fit. Because every time somebody runs past him, he doesn't make any apparent drive to get back in the game again, which a natural defender would do so.
It might just be also that Howard Wilkinson has told him in no uncertain terms that he wants no yellow cards and least of all red cards from any rash tackles from David Batty here tonight. Struntz getting it back, Dubicic knocking it forward up towards Walter, but again well beaten in the air by Fairclough. Oh, Immel colliding there with Chapman, and a foul on the goalkeeper, says the Swedish referee, and a free kick. Just one yellow card tonight going to Dubicic for a body check on McAllister. A real clash between goalkeeper and centre forward there.
To be fair, Immel was actually looking for Big Lee Chapman there, and he played the ball before Chapman made contact with it.
Sverrisson. Here we go. Leeds getting back. Here's Gaudino. Walter waiting in the middle. Fairclough up to McAllister. Little touch by him to Cantona. Getting themselves into trouble again. I'd be happy seeing them not play such dainty stuff so close to their own penalty area. Play it simple and play it safe now. They've done so well so far, Leeds United. There's just over an hour gone and still 0-0.
I think the big problem they have at the moment, though, they've got no outball. They're being boxed in. I mean, if you look at Buckvold now, he's starting to drive forward, and actually Chapman's going with him as a marker. So consequently, when Leeds win the ball back, they've little options to go for.
This is Buck, but speed is right back there. Penned right back there on these occasions, Leeds. Strunz knocking it now for Dubacic.
Cantona looks as if he may have done a hamstring.
Dubacic still going forwards. Batty will get it away. As Cantona looks to be struggling on this side of the field. His arm is up, as you can see at the bottom of the picture now. He wants to come off. Yes, and he's clutching the back of his leg. It's a hamstring. And the real problem there might be not only tonight, but it might well mean that Eric Cantona misses the second leg as well. Yes, the physio can really get to work on it. In the meantime, it's Kogel. Good break again. Walter, a great chance for Stuttgart here. A little chip. It's in the back of the net. And Leeds are behind Fritz Walter. Ron Atkinson.
To be fair to Stuttgart, they've been threatening that for the last 10 minutes or so. They've got their passing game going. Dorigo,
but just look at the space there.
Yeah, that may be something to do with the fact that Cantona was on this side of the field injured, you know. The ball was actually played up to him when he... It's Carl Schutt coming on now.
Carl Schutt coming on, as we see again, Fritz Walter.
Yeah. It's a good finish, though, to be fair.
It's a terrific finish, isn't it?
To be fair to him, that's a classic finish.
I say it's a super slow motion too.
Yeah,
not that we want to see too much of it, but
classic finish. But you'd have to ask yourself there where the Leeds defences have been pulled all over the show.
Great bit of skill. And a bad moment for Leeds. Fritz Walter then, this prolific goal scorer that we told you about right at the top of the programme, has struck again, just as he did at Ellen Road, of course, in the Makita Trophy. On that occasion, Leeds came back from a goal down to win 2-1. Let's hope they can do something like that tonight now. Above all else, Leeds must not concede another one. So Carl Schutt on to play. I wonder what sort of role. He's a striker. He's up alongside Chapman, of course, in place of Cantona.
Yeah, he has got the ability to run wide as well. He's an excellent crossover ball when he runs wide. But I just thought Howard might have put on Sellers. Gone for a really balanced five-man midfield and said, hey, let's deny them the ball a little bit. And okay, if we have to beat 1-0, we'll get beat 1-0.
Now this is where Leeds really do need to be at their best, as Buchwald comes striding forward again. Looks for Galdino, is brought down by Chris White. But the referee said, quite calmly, White played the ball. He's ignoring all the whistles and boos. Galdino's gone down and needs some treatment. But the referee was quite adamant that there was no foul there, and there's pointless Bronzek running 30 or 40 yards to have a word with the referee, which he's doing at the moment, of being pushed away by Chris Fairclough. There's Christoph Baum, the coach of Stuttgart.
He also, as well, to be fair to the referee, was in the best position of everybody. He was about 10 yards away from that incident. And all of a sudden we see the miracle cures worked again, and the guy's up and running. Or limping quick anyway.
But now it becomes a real test for Leeds, Ron.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that will give they were threatening that, Stuttgart. As I say, in all fairness, they picked up their game a little bit. Buchwald started breaking through from the back, which is something he did very well in one or two of the games in Sweden, and that's caused them extra problems in midfield. First half he was just prepared to sit and mark Chapman, but this half he's joined in very much from the back.
Dieter Ernest there, general manager of Stuttgart.
Doesn't look too happy about something there, does he?
Maybe the foul on Galdino. Free kick to Leeds, David Batty with it. Great incentive for Leeds now to get on level terms, an away goal would be absolutely priceless. A 1-1 scoreline would be so much better than 0-0, but at this stage, with a little under 25 minutes left, they're a goal behind. Yes, Chris White.
I think if I was Howard Wilkinson now, I'd settle for 1-0. I mean, you would have to fancy Leeds back in Ellen Road, which is totally different to their somewhat of a cauldron for them. And what they daren't do, I don't think, is go another one down.
But here come Stuttgart again. Buck. Strunz. Schneider. Sverrisson. They funneled everybody back. Only Chapman now is ahead of the ball for Leeds. Strachan in there. Supported by Batty. Bonzek doing well. Kogel with the cross again. And Leeds were in a bit of trouble once more. I think Walter's taken a knock on the knee as that one came over. Speed trying to hold up Strunz. A lovely ball there, played to Gaudino, and good work again by Chris White, holding up the Stuttgart attacker. Another corner to the home side.
Some brilliant football there, though, from Stuttgart. Out on the left wing at first. So Fonseca, the little 1-2 there, and then that ball from Strunz. That was magnificent.
We were disappointed with them. We were talking at half-time, but they've really picked up the game now in this second half. Gaudino then with the corner. Get it away. Oh, great save by Lukic! Well, they've scored again. And it's that man again, Fritz Walter. And it's 2-0. And a disastrous 5 minutes for Leeds United. Lukic made one save, but had no chance with Walter's return shot.
Well, they say great goal scorers don't score great goals, but they do get credit as goals. And look at that. First man to react from was it Sverrisson's shot. Lukic a parry. Everybody coming out. Leeds defence trying to come out and play offside. The centre forward sees nothing else but the possibility of a goal.
Knock forward towards Chapman. Chested down there by Speed. And now it's really imperative that Leeds certainly hold tight at the back now, but now it's just as imperative that they score one themselves. Schutt going through, but is stopped by the number 4, Dubacik. So in 5 minutes, it's really gone all wrong for them.
Oh, very much so. I mean, they've upped their game. The passing's improved. They've got quicker. They've pushed people forward. They've looked to support from both the defence and from midfield. Leeds, from their part, haven't been able to get a grip of the game. You know, they haven't been able to control the flow of the game. They're chasing people now as opposed to getting on the ball and putting passes in.
Right.
And I don't know whether it's coincidence. We'll just see what happens here.
Gaudino, hustled by Speed. Gaudino again. Schutt trying to get back. Gaudino playing it in. For Walter. Gaudino again. And also they thought they were going to get a corner there. Also you wonder, I suppose, what's going through Leeds' mind now. What do we do? Do we just hold firm and settle at 2-0, or do we say we've got to now take a risk or two and look for a goal ourselves? There's just, so I'm told, incessantly downstairs that there's a hint of offside about the second goal.
Yes, I would think the Leeds will probably think it was an offside. That, you know, they like to clear the box very quickly.
Yes.
As you see, the guy in the wide right position is in an offside position.
Yes.
But if you play offside, if you drive out like Leeds do from corners and free kicks, you always do run that risk. In answer to your earlier question, Brian, about what the Leeds do, I think they've got to dig a few trenches now and get themselves back in the game somehow or other. I mean, at the moment, you say, should we go all out attack? They haven't really had enough of the ball in this period to spring any attacks.
So what do they have to do? Firmly shut the door at the back, and even if it stays at 2-0, you have to say, well, that's the best we can do with tonight.
I would guess so. And if they do get the chance to break and somebody like Hutch can get a consolation for them, fine. But at the moment, the last thing they can afford is to go behind further.
Here's Buck being chased by Dorigo, and Dorigo hadn't quite got the pace to hold him up. There was a foul and a free kick.
Well, they look as if they've done the homework on Dorigo. Buck, every time he's had possession, although he's a flying machine, hasn't once attempted to go on the outside. He's attacked Dorigo on the inside every time. I think, to be fair, as I say, I don't know if it's all coincidence. I think Leeds' problems have stemmed really from the Cantona situation. I mean, they lost the goal when the concentration may have been disturbed with Cantona coming off the field. And he was a very, very good outlet for them up front. He was able to hold it and bring people into play.
Well, a free kick to Stuttgart, leading 2-0, both by Fritz Walter. A real problem and a crisis for Leeds. Fronzek shot is charged down by Chris Fairclough. Ruby Schneider.
See, Fairclough can't go chasing that.
No, I mean, that's exactly the point one. Seeing it stims off the top of Dorigo's head. If that had gone beyond him and a buck had been away, then Fairclough was way out of his territory. And they are buzzing now, Stuttgart. Hate to say it, but you feel if anybody's going to score the next goal, it's going to be the Germans.
Oh, they're playing well now. They are playing very, very well. I mean, to be fair to Leeds have controlled a fair part of the game. And I was thinking when it was no score, and I can't remember an English side away from home in a place like Germany having so many good opportunities to score. I mean, we had the Hodge chance, the Speed chance in the air. Chapman had a chance, all just prior to Stuttgart taking the lead.
Free kick to Leeds for the foul on Steve Hodge. John Lukic with it. Up to Walter. And he's on a hat-trick at the moment. Looks for Kurgel on the far side, but only finds David Batty. White.
But he's looked a goal scorer, hasn't he? Even apart from the 2 goals. In the first half, when Leeds were the boss side, he was the one you're just watching him off the ball, taking up good positions, sniffing things out. Works very hard as well. Looking at him now, even now, he's unmarked. He's stood in amongst all the Leeds defence, and yet he's managed to get himself into an unmarked position.
Look, the foul on him by Schutt. Free kick to Stuttgart. A little over a quarter of an hour left. Dubicic pulling the ball forward again for Stuttgart. Leeds with plenty back, but again Fronzek getting in behind them once more. Just a flick off the head of Chris Fairclough was enough. The Leeds again look very vulnerable at the back there, particularly down that flank where Kurgel on the far side is...
Oh, he's cutting them to ribbons, isn't he?
Having such a night.
Every time he's had something decent to play, and he's cutting them to absolute ribbons there. And all right, Gordon Strachan's trying to offer some advice and some cover to Batty, but Batty looks... I honestly do feel he's got an injury problem, but he's in an unaccustomed position and hasn't looked entirely happy with it.
A free kick to Stuttgart. Buchwald was going to take it, then he started scampering forward, so Dubicic takes it. Here's Dubicic again. So somewhere up front is Buchwald, who may well cause a problem. Coming in for this one, but Fairclough got the header in first. Batty. Short to McAllister. Schutt. McAllister. And if Leeds can shut it down at 2-0, it leaves them a pretty heavy time, but not an impossible one, particularly if the Leeds crowd, which of course they will, get so firmly behind them, and make it an almost intimidating atmosphere for the German visitors. Here's the cross coming in. Can Chapman do anything here? No, it's a bit too high for him. Gaudino, challenged by Speed. No foul there, said the referee. McAllister was wanting a little too much time there, but Fairclough, Hodge, has not really got into the game yet, Steve Hodge. The throw to Leeds, Dorigo. Chapman. Fairclough going in, a foul. A free kick to Stuttgart. Contrast between the 2 coaches there, the 2 managers. Harold Wilkinson looking what he must be at the moment, a very worried man. Struntz pulling the ball forward again. Gaudino. White sticking close to him. Back again for Sverrisson. The 1-2 played there. Sverrisson, the Icelandic man. Good challenge by Steve Hodge, but a corner. Oh, it must have been out of play first. A goal kick.
He'll also be wondering, Howard Wilkinson. I mean, to be fair to them, they've had a hell of a game against us on Sunday. The Germans have had an extra day's rest, and just whether that'll have any effect in the last 15.
He was very disgruntled about playing on Sunday. He felt he had to temper his criticism against any psychological disadvantages players might feel if he made too much of a song and dance about it. Another German's down injured. I think it's Walter. Headed back pass by Fairclough. And Lukic knocks it forward and not out, up towards Chapman, but now the whistle's gone and the physios can come on. Well,
course of duty, Brian.
Course of duty. It didn't look as bad as all that to
no,
me.
he couldn't have anything. Chris White completely blameless there. And the last thing he wants to do is come off, isn't it?
There's the story of the night, and it's not a very happy one at the moment as we come here in southern Germany, just past 10 minutes to 10 at night. Stuttgart leading Leeds United by 2-0. It'll be a drop ball. Speed and Walter now fully recovered, and Walter very sportingly plays the ball back to the possession of Leeds United, and Batty plays it forward up to Chapman. What Leeds wouldn't give for a goal now. Strachan. Hodge is in there. Can he conjure something up here? He'll chip in again by Schutt, I think it was, on the far side. Yes, Carl Schutt provides the corner for Leeds.
And they looked very, very threatening, didn't they, in the first half on corners, and it'd be a godsend for them if they could just nick one now.
Well, Chris White's in there. Fairclough's in there somewhere, because he's certainly not in a defensive role at the moment. But it came to nowhere. Now he needs to be in a defensive role, because suddenly Stuttgart are springing forward again. Walter's up ahead, but Fairclough has got back this time, supported by Speed. And the referee giving a free kick surely to Leeds United. Like this referee, actually, he's let it's a man's game as far as he's concerned. He's
Brilliant.
let a few things go, and
Brilliant, Brian, brilliant.
McAllister. Forward again towards Carl Schutt, nodded by him towards Fairclough. With Fairclough up there, Leeds still keen, obviously, to get this one goal that would mean so much. 2-0 down at the moment as we come to the closing stages. About 11 minutes of this game to go here in Stuttgart. Gary Speed with the throw. Chapman at the near post might well be the target for him. But he's beaten by Buchwald. Speed knocking it in again. Walter gets it away. Batty. Simple ball to Dorigo. Into Batty again. Chapman. McAllister. Oh, kept his balance nicely there, McAllister. In the end, he's brought down by Struntz. But Leeds keep possession. There's a Stuttgart player down again as Strachan plays the ball in. It's too high for Hodge and easy for Eike Immel. And Immel, who played for his country when he was only 19 years old, the goalkeeper, now 31, gets the ball into touch. And the Stuttgart physios are in action again. Dubacek is the injured man, the sweeper. Still have their eye on this face-saving goal, Leeds, by pushing Fairclough and White forward at every opportunity, Ron.
Yes, I mean, once they get into the other half of the field and they can build up some pressure, then I think it's relatively safe to send them forward, particularly, as I say, on the set plays now. But what we don't want to see them do, we don't want to see the two centre-halves just go chasing lost causes and leave the thing wide open at the back. 2-0 can be reclaimed. They can get 2-0 back at Ellen Road. It's going to be a hell of a task, but they can still get it back. I could never, ever see them getting 3 back. No. But 2 they could get back. They could certainly get to 2 each in, you know, and go into an extra time situation.
Well, let's see. Leeds pushing forward there. Stuttgart in just for a moment in a little bit of disarray at the back. And now Dorigo hustling, and Buck getting back there, the back pass. Dealt very capably there by Lukic. Up to Chapman. Plays it short for Hodge. This is Carl Schutt. speed. Shut again. Lifting the pace a little bit now, finding Batty, finding Strachan. But again, Stuttgart get possession. Good firm challenge by Buchwald, who's handled Chapman very well indeed tonight. They were so fearful of Chapman's ability, particularly in the air. But Buchwald, very experienced, has done such a good job. And here's Buck, who is very quick indeed. And it's another goal! 3-0. That's a disaster now for Leeds, as Buck out-sprinted his marker and fired unerringly into the far corner of the Leeds net. The smile of Fronzek says it all. He went past Fairclough, a beautifully angled drive. Lukic looked as though he may have just got a touch on it, but that was all.
Yes, I think John Lukic should have saved this, to be fair. I think it's within range of him. I think he should have completed a full hand on that. Gets an ugly little bounce beforehand. But the worrying thing again, once again, is they've attacked down the right-hand side of Leeds, sorry, the left-hand side of Leeds defence. He's a little bit far over his Lukic there. His position's not brilliant. But I just wonder where Tony DeRigo's gone again. I mean, that's the two of the goals absolutely missing from sight. And that's the problem you have if you go chasing into false areas.
Well, Fritz Walter, having done the damage, is coming off. And they're bringing on Adrian Knupp. Fair-haired player there. Well, Walter certainly has done the damage. With his 2 goals in a matter of 5 or 6 minutes, 62 and 68. Getting a great ovation from the Stuttgart crowd, as you can well imagine. Terrific goal scorer, and has proved the point most firmly tonight. And on in his place is Knupp, no mean goal scorer himself. In fact, he scored twice for Switzerland against Scotland in a World Cup qualifier last week. Bit of skirmishing while all that was going on in the crowd. Behind the right-hand goal.
I think you'd have to say in the balance of play, the 3-0 scoreline flatters them. Yeah, the last 20 minutes they've been totally dominant. But prior to that, they'd had some very hairy moments for the home team.
Kegel. Struntz. Here comes Stuttgart again. Gaudino stopped by speed. Strachan. Strachan again. Up to Chapman. Schutt knocking it forward, but that really is indicative of just how Leeds' play has gone in this second half. Behind with a goal kick and a lot of thought to go into the next fortnight for Howard Wilkinson, and a lot of anxiety too, because the big prize might now just be beyond the grasp of Leeds United.
And I think he'll know that if anything else, probably lack of experience, particularly amongst his defenders at this level, has been expensive tonight.
McAllister up. So disappointing for Leeds after such a good first half. But they just haven't been able to handle Stuttgart once Stuttgart's up the pace, got their game going. And an interview there with Fritz Walter. We can cut away to the action. But it's action that might trouble Leeds United as Kegel goes down that flank again. Gaudino's in the middle. So too is Knupp, substitute, and they get a corner. It came off Batty. 4 minutes of the game left. Gaudino with the corner. Batty getting it away. As far as Struntz.
Come on!
Sverrisson. Here's McAllister. Strachan couldn't find his man, and Hodge just clipped Gaudino. The referee said no, it wasn't anything to get too upset about.
Gaudino
was the German crowd has. Sorry?
Gaudino was always looking for that trip there.
Once he's chasing this one, he's got to be watched very closely, and he's being watched by Fairclough. It's a goal kick. It's a pretty forlorn hope maybe, but with 2.5 minutes left, if Leeds still were to snatch one, it would open up all sorts of possibilities with the away goal for the second leg at Ellen Road.
I think it's also fair to say they haven't, whether it's because the Germans have pushed into the game more, they certainly haven't controlled the game much at all in the second half. Leads, they haven't passed the ball over. I know they're not a passing side, but you can't afford, you know, it's a saying I've got at this level, you cannot afford to give the ball away too cheaply.
Hook. Dorigo stopping him on that occasion. You wonder how much they had the sting taken out of them, Ron, by having to play on Sunday. Whether that's having an effect, whether Howard Wilkinson will feel, I suppose he will say, you'll accuse me of making excuses if I do, but they certainly have not lasted the pace, particularly in this second half.
And I can't believe it's the same Stuttgart side I was watching in the first half. The movement's been good. This fella's caused a lot of the problems. Strong, he's pushed forward considerably more in the second half. Set his stall out with the 3 shots just after half-time. And I think they all took the lead from that. Buchwald pushed into midfield. They drove the game. Leeds, for their part, couldn't get out of the camp at the back. They were staying there, couldn't pass the way out, couldn't play the way out. Chapman didn't hold much up for them, and once Cantona had gone, then they had a big problem. I certainly think they missed the big fella probably more than they would have thought.
And what you have to worry about also, Ron, is that if indeed it's a hamstring, that might well just knock him out for the second leg as well.
Well, maybe. Maybe it's tightened up a little bit from having the 2 games in a short period of time. That, you know, he put in an awful lot of effort in on Sunday, and maybe, you know, that's the problem. Let's hope so.
For Leeds United. Don't forget, later on we can also see live the second half of Manchester United against Torpedo of Moscow from Old Trafford. There's Fairclough. Sverrisson.
How much do you think it may have had to play in the second half? I mean, Strack was very influential in the first half, wasn't he? When he was allowed like a free rein to go here, there and everywhere. Now, second half, he's been more or less tied down to that right side of midfield and had to do an awful lot of backtracking to help Batty with his problems.
Dubicic. White getting it away. And, in fact, there was a foul by Knupp, which the Stuttgart coach hardly agrees with. They're wanting the final whistle now, would you believe? Dorigo. Knupp. Kurgel's on the far side. White. Dorigo. Up to Hodge. A foul on him and a free kick to Leeds. Hodge has gone down. It's a free kick.
Now, if only. I mean, Howard does practice and practice and practice restarts.
Spent a lot of time this morning practicing set pieces. They're taking the number 5 Strunzov, who's had a terrific game, a summer signing, cost £1 million from Bayern Munich, and he's been so influential, the number 5. On comes the number 14, Gunter Schäfer, very experienced, 30 years old, over 300 appearances for Stuttgart. Strachan playing it in, but surely while the substitution's being made, the kick can't be taken. Well, now Strachan gets another go at it. He's done well, Spuns, no doubt about that.
I wonder whether some of the Leeds players should be pushing on the line. They've got defenders on the line and obscuring the keeper's view to goal.
It was Speed who put it there, and it's Fairclough who put it over the top.
Oh,
well, they claim that the ball was over the line. Leeds are claiming there the ball's over the line most vehemently, so much so that I think Rooney Larsson is getting the yellow card out and giving it to Steve Hodge. He argued that the ball was over the line. Well, this might give us a clue, will it? No, not that picture, but maybe we can get a shot of that sometime. But Leeds clearly claiming that the header, which I think came from Gary Speed, was over the line.
I must confess, when he hit it, as soon as he headed it, Brian, I actually thought that was a goal.
Hodges booked. It stays at 3-0.
And that might just sum their night up, mightn't it? Even the second rebound header was still a good opportunity to narrow the deficit.
Speed again with a header. Stopped by Dubicic. Here's Dorigo. Gaudino. Leeds are getting back. Lukic has come storming out of his goal. I hope he can get there. Dorigo playing it to Speed. Knocked forward again. It's Carl Schutt chasing this one. Chapman's waiting in the middle, but he'll wait in vain. The ball beat Schutt over the byline. We played 3 minutes of time added on. And Immel has been largely untroubled in the second half until that moment a minute or so ago. So dominant of Stuttgart been in the second half. Dorigo with the throw. White knocking it forward, up towards Chapman again, in shackles there from Buchwald. McAllister. Over the head of Batty, Nook chasing. Fairclough going with him. And doing well enough to get it away to Chris White as Leeds come forward again. Well, over 4 minutes of time added on has been played. Dorigo knocking it forward quickly again towards Carl Schutt. Schutt trying to knock it down, or rather Hodge trying to knock it down for Schutt. McAllister, Batty, McAllister, knocked forward again. Chapman, McAllister. Dorigo. Now, Dorigo onto the right foot. And behind for the corner.
That's their best passing moment of the second half. They must have put 7 passes, 7 very good passes. And you wonder what might have happened if they'd have been prepared to play that way a bit more patient and not give the ball away and build the way through a little bit more.
Strachan streaming across to this corner flag to take the corner. Everybody up for Leeds now. It was a poor corner from Strachan, and White just got a touch on it into the side netting, a goal kick. Referee again looking at the watch. There's Fritz Walter, who, with the moustache there, who caused so much of the damage. Strunz, who was such a good player in the midfield. Stuttgart, a revelation in the second half. Look, offside, free kick. Well, if Leeds get a good start, which they certainly need at Ellen Road, it's still not beyond them, Ron.
No, they've got mountains to climb them. I thought at 2-0 they could still produce something, but they've certainly got mountains to climb.
In the final whistle, and Christoph Baum has led Stuttgart to a very important win here by 3-0. It's a bad night for Leeds United, which promised so much at half-time when they looked well in command. With no great problems, and then those 2 goals by Fritz Walter after 62 and 68 minutes, with Buck piling another one on with just 8 minutes of the game left, has left Leeds with an enormous job to do in the second leg at Ellen Road in a fortnight's time. The problem started from the moment Eric Cantona was injured, and as he was seeking to get off, so Stuttgart struck, and from that moment onwards things looked particularly dismal for Leeds United. So Ron Atkinson, as we wait to see whether we can get an interview with Howard Wilkinson, who must be a very disappointed man tonight.
Well, obviously they've got to get it out of their mind now.
Okay, Ron, let's go down and join Howard Wilkinson.
Howard, desperately disappointing after a very good first half.
Very disappointing. I was nearly as disappointed when you interrupted me whilst I was working as well. Would you like me walking into a news broadcast while you're talking?
I'm trying to do my job, you're trying to do yours, but did you...
No, when you interfere with me, you're not doing your job properly. Yes, I'm disappointed, obviously. Very, very disappointed. But the game's not over yet. Whilst there's life, there's hope. Thank you.
The nerves are beginning to show a little bit there with Howard Wilkinson, I think. We'll take a short break at this point. We'll have more action from the Leeds game. We'll show you the goals. And we've also got action from Old Trafford as well. Stay with us.
Recht eigentlich und gewissermaßen ex cathedra postulieren wir definitiv, dass eine permanent progressive, dabei primär okkulte Toxizitierung nur einen kausalen Schluss zulässt. Campus bitterorum olet, wie wir Lateiner sagen, oder auf Deutsch, Bitterfeld stinkt zum Himmel.
Die Hexenküche der Nation liegt mitten in Ostdeutschland, Bitterfeld. Wie Meißen für Porzellan steht diese Region für Umweltverschmutzung. Die jahrzehntelange Chemieproduktion hat ihre giftige Spur hinterlassen. Das Grundwasser ist verseucht, die Böden von Cadmium und Blei schwer. Die geschätzten Kosten für die Beseitigung liegen in Milliardenhöhe. Hinzu kommt, das ökologische Notstandsgebiet ist auch wirtschaftlich am Ende. Gleich nach der Wende brachen die Chemieriesen zusammen. Die Folge: ein Heer von Arbeitslosen. Sanierungskonzepte müssen her. Wer will schon sein Kapital in vergiftete Böden und Gewässer investieren? Bislang ist wenig passiert.
Die Chemiedeponien sind natürlich extrem hoch belastet, dass sie teilweise vollständig aus Chemieabprodukten bestehen. Hier in der Muldeau sind vor allen Dingen Schwermetalle abgelagert, die aus dem Oberlauf der Mulde kommen, und zum Teil auch organische Schadstoffe aus dem Kreis Bitterfeld.
Seen und Flüsse der Region sind weitgehend biologisch tot. Nun verschreiben sich immer mehr kleine Firmen der Umwelttechnik. Große Neuerungen auf dem Gebiet sind jedoch nicht zu verzeichnen. Diese Firma beispielsweise, die auch im Kreis Bitterfeld saniert, dichtet Deponien ab, damit keine Gifte mehr in Grundwasser gelangen. Zwar ist mit dieser Technik die Gefahr zunächst gebannt, bei weitem aber nicht aus der Welt geschafft. Das Geschäft mit der Umwelt blüht und gibt Arbeit. Vor knapp 2 Jahren mit nur 12 Mann gestartet, beschäftigt dieser Betrieb heute schon 65 Mitarbeiter. Aber mit Dreck wegmachen allein kann die Region nicht gerettet werden. Ein Industriepark ist geplant, um diesen Standort zu erhalten. Doch während die Bayer AG von ihrer 500 Millionen Investition einen Großteil zurückerhält, ist der Staat bei den kleinen Betrieben um einiges knausriger.
Wir haben in Vorbereitung der Gründung mit dem Arbeitsamt entsprechende Gespräche geführt, haben das kalkuliert, sind davon ausgegangen, dass die Fördermittel auch kommen. Umso enttäuschender war es für uns natürlich, wenn mehr als 75% der entsprechenden Fördermittel gestrichen werden.
Aber vielleicht fließen die Gelder ja in ehrgeizige Landschaftsprojekte. Denn in der Region Bitterfeld soll ein Naherholungsgebiet für gestresste Großstädter entstehen. Hier, wo Flüsse als Abwasserbecken missbraucht wurden, sollen Planer Yachthäfen und Sportanlagen errichten. Die Krisenregion Bitterfeld als Freizeitparadies?
Ja, seine große Stunde kam immer, wenn er Pillen nahm. Herr Minister, raufen Sie sich auch manchmal die Haare, wenn es so gar nicht klappt mit dem Anrufen?
Ganz so schlimm ist das nicht mehr. Es ist mir natürlich schon passiert in der letzten Zeit durch das Umstellen der Vorwahlnummern, dass ich versucht habe, meine Frau anzurufen und es meldete sich jemand aus dem Ausland. Aber wenn man gerecht sein will, muss man sagen, als ich vor 3 Jahren einmal Bekannte in Nürnberg anrufen wollte, da musste ich früh um 4 das Gespräch anmelden und dazu sagen, dass ich es wenigstens bis abends 23 Uhr haben wollte. Wer dies miterlebt hat, der ist jetzt schon ganz zufrieden, auch wenn es noch Probleme gibt.
Dankeschön.
Ich mache mich unabhängig.
Also, ob Sie es glauben oder nicht, ich habe jetzt eine Verbindung zur Telekom. Denn ich telefoniere gar nicht. Hier steht mir gegenüber der Pressesprecher von der Telekom in Halle. Sagen Sie mal, es muss Ihnen doch fürchterlich peinlich sein, wenn die Leute immer noch so Witze reißen über die Telefoniererei, die halt nicht funktioniert.
Dazu kann ich eigentlich nur sagen, dass wer mit offenen Augen durch die Welt geht, sieht, dass speziell hier im Bereich sehr viel passiert, was den Aufbau eines funktionierenden Telekommunikationsnetzes anbetrifft. Das heißt, wir haben gerade in diesem Jahr 50 Hochbauvorhaben, darunter 8 Fernmeldetürme, in der Beendigung eigentlich schon, die die Grundvoraussetzung mit dafür bilden, dass das Telefonieren einfacher und besser funktioniert.
Aber wissen Sie, da habe ich gleich mal ein Problem. Gestern wollte ich von Bitterfeld aus meine Mutter in Wittenberge anrufen. Und was soll ich Ihnen sagen? Wieder eine andere Vorwahl, nämlich die alte. Mit den Vorwahlnummern kommt man echt nicht zurecht.
Ja, es ist so, dass wir einzelne sogenannte Knotenvermittlungsstellenbereiche jeweils separat umstellen. Das ist technisch nicht anders möglich. Wir haben bis jetzt im September umgestellt Halle, Wittenberg, Köthen und Zeitz. Und es werden noch folgen in diesem Jahr Dessau und Merseburg. Die anderen Bereiche werden 1993 umgestellt und die Kunden der Telekom in den Bereichen werden dann entsprechend informiert.
Langsam kein Zahlenwirrwarr mehr, ja.
Da bleibt nur eins, mit Telekom in diesem Falle geht's aufwärts nun, bald auch in Halle. War doch
Aus
schön
jetzt,
heute.
Schönen Dank. Wir sehen uns morgen zur gewohnten Zeit übrigens dann wieder. Jo, und wo sehen wir uns
Wir
dann?
sind in Lübsdorf auf einer ehemaligen LPG.
Ja, bis dahin viel Spaß und schönen Abend.
Und beehren Sie uns bald wieder.
Gerne. Und jetzt sollten wir Jungen testen, damit wir noch beim Wiederkommen.
Nur einer kommt durch, so ist das im Fußball-Europapokal. Und deshalb kann es trotz ziemlich nasskalten Wetters eine ganz schön heiße Veranstaltung werden heute Abend. Erst einmal guten Abend Ihnen allen, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren. Willkommen im Frankfurter Waldstadion. Eintracht gegen Vítěz Lodz. 2:2. Das Hinspiel für beide Teams, wem sage ich das, ist noch alles drin. Ein simples Türchen brauchen die Gäste aus Polen und schon wird es eine ganz, ganz enge Veranstaltung. 840.000 Menschen leben in Polens zweitgrößter Stadt, einer klassischen Industriemetropole. Fußballfachleute sagen gar, es sei das Manchester Osteuropas. In circa 3 Minuten geht's los. Eintrachtsmarsch in Runde 2. So haben wir uns das zumindest alle vorgenommen. Schauen wir mal. Ihr Kommentator heißt dann Jörg von Torra und erwartet bereits jetzt mit brandheißen Informationen von beiden Mannschaften. Nach einer ganz klitzekleinen Unterbrechung ist Jörg von Torra für Sie da. Ihr Motto heißt dranbleiben und gute Unterhaltung.
Ja, ja. Ich war vorsichtig. Er fährt mit dem 6-Zylinder-Dual-RAM-Motor. Er fährt mit dem DSA-Sicherheitsfahrwerk. Er fährt mit ABS serienmäßig. Er macht Straßen zu Schienen. Der Opel Omega. Technik, die begeistert. Guck mal. Konica. Konica macht einfach gute Fotos.
Diese Haut, diese Haare, diese Nägel.
Abtei Kieselerde.
Abtei, höre ich heute schon zum 3. Mal.
Abtei Kieselerde.
Bitte bleiben Sie gesund.
Aha, Deli-Reform von Rau.
Ja?
Ist ja auch reich an mehrfach ungesättigten Fettsäuren.
Klar.
Und natürlich ohne Konservierungsstoffe.
Genau.
Na, mit Deli-Reform ernähren Sie sich ja wirklich gesund.
Stimmt. Ich vertraue auf Rau.
Eltins.
So, liebe Zuschauer, dann begrüßen wir Sie auch ganz herzlich hier oben vom Kommentatorenplatz. Markus Hierstedt und ich sind zwar nicht gerade umringt von Zuschauern. Ich schätze mal so um die 6.000 bis 7.000 werden bisher hier im Waldstadion in Frankfurt sein. Aber Sie alle hoffen natürlich auch darauf, dass Tore fallen, obwohl der Eintracht ja ein 0:0 reichen würde, um weiterzukommen. Ich denke aber, dass Steppi, Dragoslav Stepanovic, der Trainer der Eintracht, es gar nicht drauf ankommen lassen will, sondern eigentlich seine Devise weiterverfolgen wird. Offensive um jeden Preis. Also ich kann mir gut vorstellen, dass die Tore sehen werden in den nächsten 90, vielleicht sogar 120 Minuten. Aber 2:2 gibt es ja Verlängerung. Die Mannschaften wollen wir Ihnen gleich und schnell vorstellen. Es hat sich nicht allzu viel geändert gegenüber dem Hinspiel. Wir schauen einfach mal. Mit dem Gast fangen wir natürlich an. Und da darf ich Sie insgesamt auf 4 Spieler besonders hinweisen. Mit der Nummer 3, der Libero, das ist Tomasz Lapinski. Der einzige aktuelle Nationalspieler der Polen. Dann merken Sie sich vielleicht noch mit der Nummer 9, Marek Koniarek, den Goalgetter. 9 Tore in 9 Pflichtspielen in der polnischen Meisterschaft bisher. Die 10, das ist der Spielmacher, ein wichtiger Mann, Richard Czewiec. Und im Hinspiel hat auch noch überzeugt mit der 8, Leszek Iwanicki. Im Gegensatz zum Hinspiel, Vítěz Lodz nur mit einer einzigen Änderung. Mit der 7 ist Andrzej Schulz neu im Spiel für Józwiak, der eins der beiden Tore erzielt hat. Die Eintracht in genau der gleichen Besetzung wie beim letzten Bundesligaspiel gegen Werder Bremen. Und im Gegensatz zum Hinspiel eigentlich auch nur 2 Veränderungen. Okocha ist neu im Spiel nach seiner glänzenden Premiere, der Mann mit der Nummer 8. Seine glänzende Premiere im Weserstadion im Punktspiel. Und von Beginn an dabei mit der 7 Dirk Wolf, der Mann, der in Lodz erst in der zweiten Halbzeit kam, aber dann gleich ein Tor schoss, sein erstes überhaupt in einem Pflichtspiel. So, die Polen in Weiß, Frankfurt traditionell rot-schwarz. Und das ist der Referee Leslie Mottram aus Schottland, 41 Jahre alt. Er kommt aus der Nähe von Glasgow und leitet jetzt sein zweites Europapokalspiel überhaupt. Für ihn eigentlich eine glänzende Dienstreise, denn er hat erst ein einziges Mal Deutschland besucht. Als Schüler war er mal in Aachen. Los geht's also und wir sind gespannt, wie die taktische Marschroute vor allen Dingen der Polen sein wird. Denn sie müssen ja hier gewinnen, um weiterzukommen. Es sei denn, man spielt 3:3. Dann würde das ganz gut aussehen für Vítěz. Aber ich habe auch im Vorfeld dieser Partie gehört, dass die Gäste, obwohl sie siegen müssen, erstmal defensiv beginnen werden, sich hinten reinstellen, versuchen wollen, lange ein 0:0 zu halten und dann kontern wollen. Das ist eine Mannschaft, die stark im Gegenstoß ist und die vor allen Dingen das Mittelfeld durch ihre beiden schnellen und technisch beschlagenen Leute, die ich Ihnen vorhin vorgestellt habe, gut überbrücken kann. Hier vorne im Bild, der läuft jetzt zum Einwurf.